right, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 1986 Toyota Tercel 4-wheel drive. Up front is a 1.5 liter inline 4, and down below is a 5-speed manual transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this here Tercel because it is so weird. It's a little hatchback from the 80s, but it has 4-wheel drive, and it actually has more off-road capability than you might think from a compact. So I'm excited to share that with you today. But before we get on with the rest of the video, if you are looking to help out the channel, there are a couple links in the description below from our awesome sponsors. One of which is Cash for Cars if you're looking to sell your used car. One is from Fixed, a Bluetooth OBD2 sensor to help diagnose your vehicle, and another from Conplates. Conplates is a suction cup license plate mount for your vehicle in case you don't want to drill into your front bumper. Each purchase or quote goes towards helping the channel, and it's greatly appreciated, so let's get on with the video. But let's get back to that 1.5 liter carbureted 4-cylinder under the hood. Well, it doesn't make a whole lot of horsepower. I'll put the factory horsepower up on the screen. It's nothing really to write home about. However, what you'll notice is that this is mainly a front-wheel drive car. Right now I'm cruising and it's in front-wheel drive. However, the engine is actually longitudinally mounted like a rear-wheel drive car would be. Very interesting. I don't know many front-wheel drive bias cars that have a longitudinal engine. Kind of interesting there. But it is carbureted. This particular one would benefit from some oil control rings. It's light, it's buzzy, it's slow, but that's not really why you're buying the Tercel anyway. Come on, yeah! It's not fast. Like I said, paired to it is a 5-speed manual. However, I do have a granny gear or an extra low gear that I can put it into for climbing up rock hills or off-road or steep hills, whatever it might be. That's why I said this car has more off-road capability than you might think, is that it actually has a granny gear as well. Last but not least, like I said, this is 4-wheel drive. However, when cruising or not in 4, you're actually in front-wheel drive. And we'll talk about how to select that a little bit later on. So let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have very basic Toyota gauges. This puts me right at home, these gauges. Honestly, I love the look of them. They're very plain and simple, but Toyota has always done that from the start. On the far left is my coolant temperature, then my tachometer, and on the right is my speedometer and fuel. However, interestingly enough, this is an 80s car, and it doesn't point out 55 mile an hour on the speedometer. Kind of interesting. I do also have a digital clock in the dash, which is a quartz clock, and something you would see in 80s cars that was kind of a bragging right was to have a quartz clock. Now, the steering wheel doesn't have an airbag or any controls or anything like that, and I do get a big chunky center pad in case I do hit it, and it has the horn on it. To the left of me, I just have an air vent, and then on the door, I have my lock and unlock and my crank for the window. Moving into the center, I do have 2 climate control vents, and the climate controls themselves, very reminiscent here of the 85 MR2 that I reviewed. So I get this big chunky Econ AC button. I really like that, very typical of the 80s. And I do have a pull-out ashtray, of course, because of the 80s with a 12-volt outlet to the left. And I have a radio. Now this is actually a radio pulled out of a junkyard Subaru, so not the factory radio, but any radio from the 80s is really not going to be that good anyway. Then we come to the shifter itself. The shifter is very, very tall. And like I said, it has that granny gear on it, and it's rubber, and it's just very 80s, very economy car, which of course is to be expected out of a Tercel. But down below that is actually where I'll find my 4-wheel drive settings. So according to the owner's manual, you're actually supposed to switch into 4-wheel drive while moving. So just like that, now we're in 4. So super easy to actually get it in and out of 4-wheel drive, which is really nice.
Now, because the Toyota Tercel does not have any cup holders, it fails the big friggin' bottle test.
Then I have just the simple handbrake, and we're moving on to the seats. The seats look very, very 80s to me. They have this sort of zebra print on them almost. I wouldn't expect this car to have anything besides that, but we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. So So we're in the back of the 1986 Toyota Tercel 4-wheel drive SR5. Interesting back here. First of all, knee room, fantastic. Headroom, fantastic. Again, for a smaller car. Plenty of headspace, plenty of knee space. The Tercel rocks. The interesting thing is that this back part behind me is rock hard, but my bottom seat is actually super soft. So it's kind of the best of neither world because my bottom is bouncing, and then when I bounce, I'm hitting this church pew behind me. Very, very weird combination, but I could see going on a road trip back here, a family car, yes, yes, yes. The Tercel is actually pretty spacious and nice back here, which I was really not expecting. But now let's take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. So we're on the back of the Tercel, and we have this little handle here. And here we have the back of the Tercel. As you can see, tons of space back here. Really, really great amount of space. Again, not that large of a car, not that expensive of a car, but plenty of backseat space. Now, does this come with a slight safety concern? Maybe, but tons of space, which is really nice. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and this car has seen a lot. More than 240,000 miles, but they haven't been easy miles either. This car was designed and sold as a car you could drive through the winter, and that's it. And when I say the winter, I mean the winter, a winter, singular winter. These were disposable cars. They weren't expensive, they were cheap to manufacture, they had cheap parts on them, and they got you from point A to point B from 1986 till 1987. But somehow this car has lasted a long time because, well, when you build it simple, you build it for a long time. Base models always tend to live out longer than the premium models. And so let's get to my final thoughts here on the Tercel. Well, I think this thing is awesome. I think it's incredibly awesome. It's fun to be driving something so light and boxy and 80s and have so many fun little quirks. 4-wheel drive is awesome. You wouldn't expect this tiny little Econobox hatchback to be 4-wheel drive, but it is. And it's actually really good at it. It's like the high school jock that tries out for the school musical and actually kind of nails his falsetto. And you kind of look at each other and go, oh, really? He could do that? Interesting. That's what this Tercel is. And I miss simple little cars like this. I miss these little boxy boys. These cars were used and thrown away, but I think that's the saddest thing of them all. Is that these are such good cars, such cool cars, interesting cars, and you just don't see them anymore. So I'm glad I'm behind the wheel of one. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Bronson for letting me take out his Toyota Tercel. This thing is super cool. It's slow, it's ugly, but man is it fun. And I'm currently on the Blue Ridge Parkway. I don't think it gets better than that. I really don't. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.